Welcome to episode 3 of Superchampbreakdowns. On today's episode, we're talking about Houston Rockets' slow start to the season, Houston Rockets versus the Brooklyn Nets, early rookie performances, VJ Edgecombe versus Cooper Flag, Mavs versus OKC, Lakers versus Portland Trail Blazers, the Spurs versus the Raptors, and the Pelicans versus the Celtics. Now let's talk about Houston's slow start to the season. Houston has opened the season 0-2. Following coming second last season in the NBA Western Conference. Now, I expected that Houston would start off the season slow, but I didn't expect them to start off this slow. In episode 2, I spoke about their game versus the Pistons, and I said this is going to be a very close game, or a game where the Pistons will snatch the win from Houston, basically. And the reason why I said that is because Houston doesn't have any guards. Amen Thompson is currently the starting guard, and the supporting guard is Rich Shepard. Don't get me wrong, these are two fantastic players, but this seems like a lot of development to me. You're not going to come up with Amen Thompson and Rich Shepard and expect to win the championship against teams like OKC. The first game of the season proved it. OKC was playing without their second best player, and they were still able to dominate that game. Mind you, OKC shows what a championship team looks like. And when I compare that to the Houston Rockets, I see a lot of gaps in between. Because Houston Rockets doesn't have a good bench, and they don't have guards. And we don't know how, well, whenever Fred VanVleet gets back into the season, we don't know how that performance is going to play into their current performance. They finished second last season, and now they're going 0-2. With that being said, I'm giving Houston versus the Pistons game. Houston is going to get their first win of the season versus the Brooklyn Nets today. Brooklyn Nets are currently 0-3. They lost to the Hornets, Cavs, and the Spurs. And I don't blame Brooklyn Nets for losing. They don't necessarily have the squad to match up to the other NBA teams. And that is another reason why I'm giving Houston Rockets their first win today. I think this is a game where KD is going to stand out. Şengün is also going to have a good game. And these are the kind of games where I feel Amen Thompson can really practice being a point guard and do a better job distributing the ball. However, Houston plays a different kind of ball. They don't really need a point guard because they have players like Şengün and KD that can handle the ball on their own, but they don't necessarily need a facilitator. However, I think Houston going into this game is definitely a win. They're facing a Brooklyn Nets team that is not even a full squad. They're not developed. I don't think they have any all-stars in there. When Michael Porter joined this team, I thought it would be a better team, but I haven't seen any significant changes to this team yet. I think Houston is still going to be one of those teams that give out free wins to the big teams. So Houston Rockets versus the Nets today. We're going with a Houston Rockets win. Let's talk about early rookie performances. And for the early rookie performances, I'm highlighting two rookies for today's analysis. First off is VJ Edgecombe, and the second player is Cooper Flag. Starting off with VJ Edgecombe, he had a very impressive first NBA game. He dropped 34 points, which was the third highest by a rookie in NBA history. And it's impressive to say that VJ Edgecombe, I've seen his games, he's currently averaging 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. That's very interesting considering that he's playing with Tyrese Maxey and a limited Joel Embiid, because Joel Embiid is still on minutes restrictions. But VJ Edgecombe seems to me like a player that has a lot of potential, he has a lot of growth, he has a lot of confidence, he has the right attitude, and Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid seem to be giving a very supportive environment for his growth. So VJ Edgecombe looks to me like he's definitely in a very comfortable position for the Rookie of the Year race. Now, the most likely to win the Rookie of the Year race, Cooper Flag, who plays for the Dallas Mavericks, is currently averaging 14 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 3 assists a game. Now, I want to point out that Cooper Flag has been starting off at point guard and has also had a lot of minutes to play. I think that when Kyrie comes back to the Dallas Mavericks, is going to make Cooper Flag a more efficient player because he doesn't have to be the primary ball handler like he's doing right now. His 4 assists, the last game that he played, the Dallas Mavericks, I think he showed that he has the potential to pass the ball better. He still has an average more than 5 assists as a starting point guard. But I think he showed that he has the ability to pass the ball better. There's a lot of growth, there's a lot of potential. He's very athletic, and I think this season is going to be a back and forth race between Cooper Flag and VJ Combe. But for the first week of the NBA, I think I'm putting VJ Combe as the first rookie leader and Cooper Flag as a close second. Now let's talk about the Mavs versus the Thunder game. The Mavs are currently 2-for-1 in the NBA season, and let's give them some slack. They're missing their primary point guard Kyrie, but the game against San Antonio that they played, the first game into the season that they played against San Antonio, I was very surprised to see that AD and Cooper Flag both had 4 fouls heading into the third quarter, like when we gave them so much issues. So I do think AD is an all-star player and the Dallas squad is very good. However, coming into today's game, the Thunder are going to dominate and win this game. Primarily because OKC is still a better team, even without Jalen Williams and Caruso. Let's talk about OKC's bench. I want to give a special shout out to AJ Mitchell. AJ Mitchell has been balling amazingly this season. He's been putting in an outstanding effort on the pitch. I like his efficiency. He doesn't turn the ball over much. He plays very well. He passes the ball too. He's currently averaging 16 points and 3 assists from the bench. I think that is impressive. Let's talk about Aaron Wiggins, also from the OKC bench, playing amazing ball. Let's also talk about Chet Holmgren playing amazing ball as a starter. I think if Chet continues the way he's going, he definitely could land himself as an all-star. Now, I think even without Jalen Williams, going into this game is going to be a tough matchup for Chet Holmgren because he has to go against Anthony Davis. And I can say the same for AD. It's going to be a matchup between 2 talented centers. But I think the game, where OKC kind of dominates this game, is in the overall quality of the team. OKC has a better team. They have better defenders. Players like Cam Wallace that play good defense and can shoot threes. And you have dedicated defenders like Lil Dort. His job is not to score points, but he does one hell of a job defending. And to point out that, so Lil Dort also can shoot the 3 and he can add to the offense of OKC. So with all that being said, OKC is going into this game victorious. They're going to get the win, and I'm looking forward to seeing Cooper Flag, what Cooper Flag has to do with a very good team like OKC. I want to see his performance, what he can do. Can he outshine the current championship team and get Dallas to win? I think not. Maybe later in the season that could happen, but right now is the definite win for OKC. Lakers versus Portland Trail Blazers. Now, in my first episode of Superchampbreakdown, I narrated how Lakers signing DeAndre Ayton is going to be very good for the Lakers. And I said this because last season they lost to the Timberwolves in the playoffs, and that was probably because they didn't have a center to go against Rudy Gobert. Signing DeAndre Ayton gives the Lakers more space, and it gives the Lakers an additional good player. DeAndre Ayton can shoot from the mid-range, and he's a player that can score points on his own. He doesn't necessarily need you to set him up all the time. He's a player that can score on his own. And yesterday's game versus Sacramento King, Lakers went into that game without Luka Doncic, who is out for about 1 week, and LeBron James. And Austin Reeves dropped 51 points. That was impressive. Very impressive. Now, where this Lakers team gets dangerous is when you realize that Rui Hachimura dropped 18 points and DeAndre Ayton dropped 22 points and 15 assists. This is without their 2 best players, Luka and LeBron. When Luka and LeBron comes back to this team, you now have 3 players that can go crazy on the court. You have LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves. In addition to support players like Rui Hachimura and DeAndre Ayton. Like, this makes the Lakers a very good team, and this is the playoffs team to me. These are very targeted players that know how to do magic. And let's talk about Luka. Luka is a crazy player. He can do a lot of fantastic things on the pitch. And once you have Luka on your team, LeBron on your team, and even without Luka and LeBron playing, you still have a team that can win against Sacramento. Like, and Austin Reeves dropping 51 points. That is amazing. This is truly amazing from the Lakers. However, Lakers are playing the Portland Trail Blazers today, and with this game, I can't necessarily say if the Lakers are going to win or lose this game because LeBron and Luka are still out. Now, is there a guarantee that Austin Reeves is going to drop another big hammer game today? I don't know. But the Portland Trail Blazers have a couple good players. But let's first talk about the injuries that they're currently facing. Portland Trail Blazers are currently facing. Damian Lillard, Scoot Henderson, and Robert Williams are currently out for the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, with those players being out and Portland still being a developing team, I see this as a close game. I think this is another game for the Lakers, for the other players in the Lakers aside from their stars, LeBron and Luka, to really show what they can do. Not every team in the NBA can play without their two best players and still get wins. Today is going to be a very core game for the Lakers because I think if they can handle all Sacramento and Portland, these two teams are not necessarily playoff teams, but to do this without your key players is very impressive. So going into this game, I don't know who is going to win this game, but I can definitely edge the Lakers as potential winners. Spurs versus the Raptors. Wembanyama has started this season like he wants to be the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year at the same time. This man is playing basketball like I've never seen before. I was opportune to watch the San Antonio versus the Mavs game, the first game of the season on game 1, and Wemby was impressive. A center that can do everything in the NBA court is impressive. Not only does Wemby score, he puts players in foul trouble. And his defensive attributes, making players scared of the rim. The Raptors are going to suffer versus the San Antonio Spurs today. Wemby is going to have another crazy game. I don't know who in the Raptors can even handle Wemby. I don't think there's anyone in the Raptors that can handle Wemby. Wemby has been going crazy, and this makes me think that San Antonio is going to have a very impressive season. Because San Antonio is currently 3-0, and they are missing very valuable players. They are missing their second best player, DeAndre Fox, who is an all-star. They are missing Jeremy Sohan, who is a good defensive player, and they're missing Lindu Waters, who shoots very good threes. Like this is a team that has really stepped up from last season, San Antonio. And Wemby is showing us that he's really an alien. He's out of this world. He's incredible. And this is why I'm confident that the Spurs are going to win the Raptors today. And lastly, we're talking about the Celtics versus Pelicans. The Celtics are currently suffering. They haven't won a single game. In fact, both the Pelicans and the Celtics have not won a single game this season. Now let's say why the Celtics haven't won this season. They are missing their best player, Jason Tatum. Understandable. However, playing against the Pelicans, who have also not won a game this season, I'm more impressed with the Pelicans because they took a step forward. I really love the signing of Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole with Zion Williamson is a good combo. I think they can do a lot of magic together. Jordan Poole with his 3-point shooting, Zion with his crazy skills. You know what, Zion is a power man. He can score points. He bullies people on the court. He knows exactly how to score. He's a player that can drop 20 plus points on any given night with his talent alone. The Pelicans as a team, they're currently stronger than the current Celtics roster, and this is why I see the Pelicans getting this win against the Celtics today. It's going to be a very interesting game. Hopefully the Celtics can keep up, but I see the Pelicans taking advantage of a weak Celtics team right now, and I see the Pelicans getting this win. And that will be all for today's episode on Superchampbreakdowns. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.